Imagine waking up at midnight to the sound of a child's cries echoing through a dark, unfamiliar house. The air feels heavy, the shadows seem to move, and something sinister lurks just beyond your door. This isn't a nightmare. It's real, and it happened to one man in rural Ohio. Buckle up, because this true horror story will chill you to the bone. Hey spooky friends, how's everyone doing out there? Hope you're ready for a terrifying tale. I'm your host, and I want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching our videos and leaving those bone-chilling comments. You're the heartbeat of our haunted community. To keep these creepy stories coming, smash that like button. It's like a ghost's whisper to our channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new horror story. My name is Ethan, and I come from a small, forgotten town in rural Ohio. My family's livelihood was farming, and life was simple until about 30 years ago when everything changed. My father developed a small sore on his throat. At first, we thought it was nothing, but within a week, it started oozing pus. A local doctor suspected the worst and urged us to take him to a cancer hospital in the nearest city. The diagnosis was grim: throat cancer. Following the doctor's advice, we admitted Dad to the hospital for treatment. This wasn't a big, fancy hospital. It was small, overcrowded, with strict rules. Only one person could stay with the patient, and visitors weren't allowed to linger unless absolutely necessary. My mom and I went with Dad, but we quickly learned only one of us could stay by his side. A hospital staff member told us about a waiting hall for people like me, those stuck in limbo, waiting for their loved ones. So, every night, I slept in that hall. It was cramped, uncomfortable, and filled with others in the same boat. There were no proper beds, just cold, hard benches. One night, as I sat outside the hospital, too tired to sleep in that miserable hall, a security guard approached me. "You can't sleep here until after midnight," he said. "Everyone's awake until then, and you'll wreck your health if you keep this up." He mentioned there were cheap rental rooms about half a mile away, used by people staying near the hospital. "You'll rest better there," he promised. The idea stuck with me. The next morning, I set out to find one of these rooms. I was skeptical. Could I really find a place that cheap? But sure enough, there were plenty of vacant rooms. I checked a few, but none felt right. Finally, at the end of a quiet street, I found a house that caught my eye. It wasn't just a room, it was a whole house with 4 rooms for rent, and the price was dirt cheap. The owner handed me the key to one of the rooms, explaining that 2 other tenants, both women, were already staying there. "It's just a house," he said. "No kitchen, no frills, but there's a well out back for washing. Just don't cook anything." The setup was simple. A main door led to a hall with 2 rooms on either side. My room was across from the 2 women, a grandmother and her young granddaughter, or so I thought. That first day, I spent the morning arranging food for Mom and Dad at a nearby diner, then told them about the room. "Good job, Ethan," Mom said. "You've been exhausted. Go rest tonight." By 8 p.m., after making sure they had dinner, I headed to the house. The place was empty when I arrived. The other tenants must have been at the hospital. The hall felt grimy, so I washed up at the well out back, the cold water sending shivers down my spine. As I settled into my room, the owner stopped by. "The others come back late," he warned. "Lock the main door when you sleep. They'll knock when they get here." It made sense, so I locked the door and drifted off. Around midnight, a loud knock jolted me awake. I stumbled to the door, heart pounding, and heard 2 voices, a frail, elderly woman and a young girl. I opened the door, and the hall's dim light revealed them, an old woman, maybe 70, and a girl no older than 13. They looked like a grandmother and granddaughter. "You must be the new tenant," the woman said, her voice raspy. I nodded, explaining I was here for my father's treatment. "Sorry for waking you," she said. "Go back to sleep." I returned to my room, locked the door, and fell back asleep. The next morning, their room was locked tight. They must have left early for the hospital, I thought. I went about my day, spending it with Dad, and returned to the house that night. The same routine repeated. I locked the door, slept, and was woken by their knock at midnight. This went on for 5 days. Me at the hospital all day, them arriving late, our paths never crossing in the daylight. But on the 6th day, everything changed. That morning, as I was getting ready, the young girl approached me. "Sir, my grandma wants to talk to you," she said, her voice trembling. Curious, I followed her to their room. The old woman was sitting in a chair, her eyes sharp despite her frail frame. She asked about my life, my family, and why I was here. I told her about Dad's cancer. She nodded, then shared her story. They were from a small town near Cleveland, here because her son was undergoing heart surgery. "We'll be here another 2 weeks," she said. I thanked her for the chat and left for the hospital. That night, I returned to the house around 9:30 p.m., exhausted. I washed up, locked the door, and collapsed into bed. But at midnight, I was woken again, this time by a knock and a chilling sound, the girl's cries. I rushed to the door, heart racing, and opened it. The girl was sobbing, her voice barely audible. "Please, help me," she whispered. I asked what was wrong, but before she could answer, the old woman's voice cut through the darkness. "Don't interfere," she snapped. "She's fine. Go back to your room." Her tone was icy, almost menacing. Confused and uneasy, I hesitated. The girl's cries grew louder, but the grandmother's words echoed in my head. Reluctantly, I returned to my room, her sobs still ringing in my ears. As I lay there, trying to sleep, the cries seemed to come from inside my room. I bolted upright, heart pounding, but the room was pitch black. "Sir," the girl's voice whispered, so close I could feel her breath. "I'm scared to sleep near her. Can I stay here?" I froze. "Why are you scared?" I asked. Her behavior, "It's not right," she stammered. "Please, let me stay." She sounded so desperate, like a terrified child. I couldn't say no. "Okay," I said. "Sleep here, but stay on the floor. I'll talk to your grandma tomorrow." She begged me not to mention it, saying her grandmother would hurt her if she knew. I promised to keep quiet, and she curled up in the corner, still whimpering. Then, the grandmother's voice boomed through the wall. "You're scaring me," the girl screamed. "I will go with you." The old woman's response was chilling. "If I'm scared of you, do I abandon you? Come back." Their argument grew heated, and I could hear them struggling. The girl clung to my arm, sobbing, "She's going to take me! Save me!" I tried to intervene, but the old woman grabbed my wrist with unnatural strength, throwing me against the wall. "You're tearing us apart," she snarled. "Who are you to interfere?" Her words dripped with venom, accusing me of things that made my skin crawl. Furious and shaken, I pushed the girl toward her and slammed the door, her screams echoing outside. "Save me!" she cried, but I couldn't face that woman again. I locked myself in, trying to block out her pleas. An hour later, the cries stopped. I thought they'd settled down, but sleep wouldn't come. I stepped outside for air, hoping the cool night would calm me. The street was silent, the house dark. I assumed they were asleep. I went back inside, left my door open, and finally drifted off. Then, at 3 a.m., the screams started again. Louder, more desperate. "He's going to kill me," the girl shrieked. "She's got a blade!" I leapt up, heart pounding, and ran to their door. It was locked, but I could hear the girl struggling, gasping, as if her throat was being cut. "Let her go," I shouted, banging on the door. The old woman's voice hissed back, "Stay out of this!" I kicked the door, desperate to get in, but it wouldn't budge. The girl's screams turned to gurgles, then silence. Neighbors! Woken by the noise, gathered outside, pounding on the main door. I let them in, explaining what I'd heard. Together, we broke down the room's door. The light flickered on, revealing a horrific sight. Both the grandmother and the girl lay dead on the floor, blood pooling around their slashed throats. Their bodies were cold, rigid, as if they'd been dead for hours. I stumbled back, my mind reeling. The neighbors called the police, and the house's owner arrived, horrified. He alerted the authorities, who confirmed the women had died by suicide hours earlier, around 11 p.m., long before I heard their cries. But how? I'd spoken to them, felt their presence, heard their screams after they were already dead. The police investigation revealed a chilling truth. The grandmother's husband, the patient they were visiting, had died that night at 10 p.m. Devastated, the grandmother decided she couldn't live without him. She convinced her granddaughter to join her in a suicide pact, unable to bear the thought of leaving her alone in the world. They'd returned to the house, carried out their plan, and died together, hours before I heard their voices. Those screams, those arguments, the girl begging for my help, they weren't human. They were echoes of their final moments, their restless spirits trapped in that house. I couldn't stay there another night. I moved back to the hospital's waiting hall, enduring the discomfort until my father's condition worsened. A week later, at 7 a.m., he passed away. That house, those voices, that blood-soaked room, they haunt me to this day. Ethan shared this true story with us, a chilling reminder that some horrors linger beyond the grave. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you faced a terrifying experience like this, email us at sharethehorrorstory@gmail.com. If it's gripping, we'll turn it into a video within 5 days. Subscribe and join our haunted community for a new, real horror story every night. Until next time, keep watching and stay spooky.